Okay, I'm ready. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As we go along, I'll explain about a new phase, a new transition that we're evolving into. And in this stage right here, we're going to open with dua and close with dua. But I'll probably do a few more duas as we... So the Prophet Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates, once the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam finished his night prayer, that is tahajjud, I heard him saying in this supplication, O Allah, I ask of you a blessing that may enlighten my heart with guidance, bring tranquility in all my affairs, and help me overcome my disturbances, internal as well as external. Now, this is a long dua, so I'll have to stop from here to there to explain. First of all, O Allah, I ask of you the blessing to enlighten my heart. So we're opening for the opening of qulub, but in Islam, qulub is not just the heart like the pumps with a vessel, because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everything was revealed to the heart of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not the brain. He got flashes of inspiration. Although there's psychological happening here, but it opens the breast, like when the Quran, open up my breast, open up my heart. Sudur. O Allah, I ask of you a blessing that may enlighten my heart with hidayah, guidance, and tranquility, as-sakina. Hidayah, ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. We're asking that over and over again. Guide us on and into the straight way. And the Quran, of course, says, ذَلِّكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. That is the book, in it is guidance sure without doubt for those who believe. And then it goes on to say, and bring tranquility in all my affairs. Generally, the word tranquility here is as-sakina. Yeah, it's as-sakina. As-sakina, they call, because Sakina, my daughter used to always, she was hooked on a pacifier. And I looked up pacifier, and the word is masakin. From sakina, she gets peace and tranquility. They call it masakin. That's what you call a pacifier, because just think of it, peace, tranquility, pacification, and all that. Anyway, so we seek blessings to enlighten our heart. That is the opening of the breast, hidayah, and tranquility in my affairs, and help me overcome my disturbances, internal and external. Okay, this period we'll just be meaning the last 15 years or so. Especially during these last periods, we have had plenty of ups and downs. Now, everybody else, to them to look at it, they would say, man, things is really rocking. Or things are so quiet over there, you can hear a mouse urine, on cotton. In other words, those are the ups and downs. And then in Oakland, there's other things going on. And for everybody else, it looks like a great challenge. When they look at it, when they look at the assaults and all the things and the snatching the property and doing all this, other people would be ready to jump off a bridge down there. They would think, man, this is deep. I mean, they would actually be, and I'm just assuming, but from what I've seen, it reminds me of one of my friends became a preacher when he got a big preacher. He's out there right now in Oakland. So when he got a case, he got the Holy Ghost. You know, he had a case, this big blow case, cocaine case. He got the Holy Ghost, and I think I was in the joint or something. And then when I got out, he came to visit me in the Masjid. And when we bought the Masjid up there, he had one of his friends with him, and he was trying to show his friends how to get the heat off yourself. You get the Holy Ghost, you get saved, and you're all on the radio, preaching and everything. And actually, he never went to the penitentiary. Whatever he did, he didn't go to the penitentiary. So he bought his best friend, or his second in command of his organization. And a couple of times they stopped by the masjid when we had bought the one we have now, and we're opening it, we're doing the work and everything, and we got work clothes on. So he was trying to tell his second in command, see, you get religion, this is the way you get the heat off of you. So I had told him before, here's what I told him. He said, man, why are you dealing with this Islam, man? In other words, I think I mentioned this before. I said, well, actually, I believe this. I actually believe it, And they couldn't, it didn't make sense. And now when I come with some of the stuff that be happening, it really don't make sense. And they told me stuff like, yeah, man, we're going to get some big money here, talking about government money and all that. And I said, well, I don't take government money. We're not striving to, get in a program, which all of my friends out there that are preachers, they plugged in. And I go to a demonstration and they're standing there next to the chief of police with 4 stars on his thing. And they had one of the programs I went to, let me get back to the subject, and the chief of police was there. He was dressed in a civilian uniform, civilian stuff, and I told him, yeah, well, the main problem with our community is the police. I said, police, and he was the chief of police sitting right there. Nice young African-American guy. And I didn't care, I don't think people either knew that I knew who he was or didn't, but I didn't know till after he came up to speak and said, now we're going to have the chief of police, in Oakland. I said, get on with your bad self. Because technically, I didn't look around and that, but technically, between us, I didn't know he was the chief of police. I thought he was a young activist or somebody there. He was still he might have been 40 years old, kind of light-skinned and stuff like that. Anyway. Is that right? Oh, okay.
I know that because the Masjid that used to be up the street, they had a program that had them there.
Okay.
I saw some stuff on Facebook and certainly promoting that.
Yeah. Do you mean the masjid used to be the cult, what's the name, center? Research Center, okay. Well, I ask of you a blessing that may enlighten my heart with guidance, bring tranquility to all my affairs, and help me overcome disturbances, external as well as internal. So this is a dua, and dua is for us. We're going into a different stage now, and maybe I'll explain a little. We're making outward dua clear to everybody at the opening of each lecture and at the closing. So people will know what we're relying on and where we're getting, whether it's a social, political, or the subject that we'll be dealing with all kind of human beings. In this next stage, climate change, this, that, and another. We might look up and Greta Thunberg may be here. You never know. That's where we're headed right now. That's where we've been headed all the time. But that was a period. Now, being not so smart, when Ibrahim makes the prayer to Allah to let me see how you do all this, he said, you don't believe? He said, no, definitely I believe. When I tell people this, that, and another, I want to be able to say, I saw that. That's basically what it's saying. I know this is true. I've seen this. Okay, now, if you want to see somebody happy, it's me. Oh, I'm telling you. Because this last period, I had kind of asked Allah, like, okay, well, you see how we understand Allah and His reality through the duas. But it was kind of like that prayer. Let me deal with these Negroes. So they will perceive I'm not getting no help from nobody, and I won't be giving them a message that I got extra help. I want to whoop these niggas behind by myself. Now that's dumb. But Allah know I'm dumb. Right? Allah created me, and so I ain't got no message to say, go ahead, do it that way, I'll let you. No, I ain't none of that going on. But I had a feeling I'm gonna take this run, and this is what I'm gonna do. I hope to get through it in a hurry so I don't sit around playing around like, if you notice, you didn't hear a lot of duas and a lot of that stuff during that. I didn't want them to think about no religion. I wanted them to think in terms that they're thinking of. Power, organization, ability. We belong to an organization that squashes niggas like bugs, which they do. Right? So Abdul Malik, Mukhtar, and all of them, Hashim, all of them, they got everybody behind them. And in this last period, everybody, if they was with us in the beginning, by the time it moved toward a close, Iranians and everybody, well, you see what's coming. Everybody backed up. So my little human endeavor, I'm telling you, glad to get through it. I mean, hurry through it. But it was kind of like taken from Ibrahim alayhi salam, this attitude. I know you exist, but I just want to show, I want people to know that I have seen this myself. And then I wanted to go through this period because now I know Allah is helping. I know the Hidayah. And I know that I have dealt with the government all my life, and I know where I am with them. So In the future, our language will be more scriptural and what have you, when necessary. But this is a period when we're dealing with a whole global phenomena. What I wanted the Negroes to understand, just like I've been talking, I'll whoop you niggas behind by myself. Because all of you are is just niggas. You are niggas and you ain't got nothing going for yourself. You ain't got nobody on your team. You got all them niggas on your team. And I have Allah. I'm working for Allah. I'm not working for myself or what is. I'm working for Islam. And you can bust a nigga upside the head, but you can't bust no faith out of it. You can mess with property. You can do all of that. Now, I want you to just imagine people don't survive long enough to go through 1/10 of what we went through on the surface. They don't do it. Has nobody in the United States that I know of even got close to that. Not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm, because Malcolm said to King, he said, one thing about me and you, we both dead men. So I have to sharpen up everything I'm doing. But I want them to understand, which we're beginning with Dua, but they understand now. They had to understand that psychologically, your teamwork, your cooperation with each other, visible and invisible, your support from the system ain't nothing. What I want them to understand, I whooped you niggas behind by my own black ASS. Yeah. Of course, we know that Allah done gave me the go ahead. This is what I feel. All right. You just want to, you sure you just what Allah would say you sure, because Allah is sure of everything. But what the point is that this is something that I wanted to do myself. Not from arrogance or not from nothing. But just as preparation for this time, you got to remember, all this climate stuff, we've been into this for decades. It ain't nothing new. And we figured we would be arriving here or close to here, right? This session is not to impress the people that we're going to be working with, but to show the niggas. Y'all had all of that stuff, all y'all. Now that's it, for me. That period is over. We didn't already whoop that. We didn't knock that over. Yes, we'll do a little filler stuff like whatever when we go to California. But this period is over. Our minds and our heart are in this next stage. This is like cleaning up the house or getting ready to move, packing it all up. And we won't be using we'll be using some of that, but not a whole lot. Because we don't bring no anger, no hatred, no nothing from that. It's just like when I was sitting there in the hospital with my head busted wide open, I could just say optimism, something like that. It don't matter. I could see how people might be approaching this. They might be saying, no, this is cold-blooded. That's not the way I felt. I didn't feel nothing like that. So it was a training ground. And that was probably the third go-round for that type of thing. The first go-round, late 60s, 70s, early 70s and all that, and then traveling around and all that. The first go-round was work. You know, niggas' eyes be big, you know what I mean? All that stuff that happened to people. Paranoia, discomfort, and all of that. But then, before I went to prison for the things that had happened before, and they had arranged it, by the time I came home, I was kind of ready. And then I came home in 1980, opened up the Masjid, and they took me right back to prison. Remember I was showing, okay, I view it as, there was no reason for that, but I view it as Allah want to polish up something in me. And prison have always been a polish for me. Prison had, to other people, it ruined their lives. It ain't never ruined. And I knew that from when I would go to jail as a young guy. I'd go to jail and I'd come back ahead of everybody else in thinking and in everything. And when I came home in 65, I had really studied and read everything in the library, and I was way ahead of everybody. And I was in a nation of Negroes. And so for being a Negro, you were light years ahead of our people at that time. You know what I mean? You were light years. And anyway, so the point I'm making is that thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything. And that last period that we went through, where it says, overcome my disturbances, internal and external, that period that we went through was smooth as silk for me. I'm just saying. It don't matter what it looked like. Especially the closer we get to now is just okay. May things related to me which are far off increase, and things which are related to me which are near prosper with your blessing. There's a saying by Imam Ali in Najib Balaga that the devil or the enemy is something like that. I'm trying to remember. He makes things that are very near look a long way off. And he makes things look that are right up on you look very far away. He looks things that are close look far away, and make things that are near, whichever way I'm saying it, look close. Yeah. Do you remember that's in the Najib Balaga? Anyway, it's there. So let's relate to blessings. If you got blessings coming, the shaitan try to mess with your vision and make it look like ain't nothing coming to you no way soon. I mean, you're going to be 500 years old before any good come your way, homeboy. And if you listen to him, that's the way you'll miss all those blessings that are stacked up to come your way, go right past you. Or things that are far away look real close. All the fitna, all the anxiety, he'll put all that right in front of you like that's tomorrow, that's now, that's next week. Okay. So this is what the dua is. This is my rendition of what the dua is saying. Okay. May my deeds be purified with your blessing. My heart develop a discerning to tell what is good for me and to be granted that which I like. May you protect me against all evils. So this is basically talking about the purification of the heart. Taskiya bil qulub. Taskiya, or purification of the heart. And remember, the Quranic hadith language for soul, spirit, and all of that is usually use the term heart, qulub. So the Quran was revealed to the heart, as the Quran said, the heart of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not his brain. That's sadr, the chest. He was inspired internally with it. It's not like in psychology, all that kind of stuff comes to the brain, right? And in Islam, it comes to the heart. Because if the heart is right, what's right? Everything else is the hadith. Okay. O Allah, bless my heart with the faith which does not leave any room for unbelief. That is, I do not commit anything against faith. And grant me a blessing with which I may enjoy a position of honor and privilege here and in the hereafter. Shoot. People was feeling sad about, man, Big Hank got this happened to him, Big Hank come out here and go to jail every time he go in his own place. Of course, it's illegal, fine. Then why would I keep doing it? Because it's feeding right into my program, not theirs, right? And everything they doing is great. So when they take them little things and little speaker things and they pop them on the wire in the car. I'm in the back seat. They pop it there. And so I said, so all this is being recorded, huh? So I done told them, even before they did that, I got $10,000. Actually, I had 11, a little more than 11. But I had $10,000, where it's wrapped in a $10,000 thing. And then it's to pay taxes and stuff out there. So when they come in, they tell me to come out, and I can't get nothing inside after that. So Mukhtar can come in. The 10,000 is gone. The other money is gone, and anything else they want. Can you imagine that they don't? You can't even. You tell them. Now this is on the recording. I say I have, and I remember I said many times that I have $10,000 in there. And that's fine. I had 11, but I wasn't counting my pocket money till later. So I had more than that. So that's all on the thing, the recording. So I get used to them, and the more I get arrested, the more I'm shaping, right, the arrest. And I'm saying and I'm talking because they sticking that up there. And I'm going to town. I'm thinking that they're helping me. They're on my team. They got to be. If they're going to stick that thing up there and I can subpoena that thing, I did subpoena some of them just for the heck of it, just to see how it was going to go. Anyway. Oh Allah, bless my heart with faith, which does not leave any room for unbelief, and do not commit anything against faith, and grant me a blessing for which I may enjoy a position of honor and privilege here and in the hereafter. O Allah, I beg of you success in matters destined for me, honor according to martyrs, life of the fortunate, and help and support against adversaries. This is going to be an hour and a half to get through this one dua, but I'm going to do what I can. I got a whole lot of duas, but we won't make nothing but this one. So, O Allah, I beg of you success in matters destined for me. There's things, if the hadith, the Quran, there's the stuff gonna hit you, it ain't gonna miss you because it's destined for you. And if it's supposed to miss you, it's gonna miss you. You can't jump in front of it, hold out your hands, hit me. You can't do it because it's destined to miss you. Right. So Everything that happened to us was destined to happen to us, and what we wanted help from Allah in, but we telling the people, you just messing with Big Hank. But we telling Allah, help me with this crew here. This is on the side. They don't know, what you're doing. Because they're materialist. Everything is material. So we got them beat from Jump Street. They're materialist. They ain't got nobody on their team but the police. And if you want a monster on your team, join the police. We done said it for decades. The police throws niggas out of the window. He drowns them. The minute the nigga that help boss man, and he come knocking, boss man, I've been a good nigga. Oh, yeah, you do have something coming. Yeah, just wait here. And then he have another nigga bump him off all the time. Or he throw him in the prison somewhere. You done snitched and got everybody in the penitentiary. Then the white man send him to court and send him to the same penitentiary where he done send everybody else. What do you think happens to the poor guy? That's the way boss man do. Look at Afghanis, look at Filipinos, look at everybody. Look at Noriega, sold all that dope for boss man. I used to go to Panama. I know what's going on. I used to go to Panama all the time. Panama is right there. There's Colombia on this side, which they stole Panama from Colombia. They're mean people. But anyway, no problem. So, you ask Allah. They don't know you asking Allah. Remember. And it ain't even hard to whoop them because it's almost a joke. It's just like I was acting. I was acting just like I felt. Whatever this is, it ain't nothing. Optimism, and I can't even talk. If the police come by here to mention something, and the sergeant and they had the other officer with him, and they looked at my head, I was still. He looked at my head. I was starting to take them morning walks, and I could hold on and walk down. First, I just walked to the end of go back. Then I'd walk down that corner, go back. Then I'd walk down actually to the shopping center and come back. In those days, that was a long walk. But I was doing it. Then I just started walking up the hill, walk back. Then walk twice up the hill, walk back. Pretty soon, you're on the road. But anyway, that's what I had to do. Oh Allah, I beg of you, success in matters destined for me. The stuff they're going to do it is part of the destiny. It's not a bad destiny. Allah put me here, I believe, to train me to get to where we are right now. See, when we jump from this, where we've been, to the global, we're ready to step into global reality right now. And at the time when it's needed, I mean, it's needed bad. It's the time that somebody got to get out there. You don't hear it much on the U.S. stations, but when you listen to BBC and other people like that, they scared to death. And they wondering, what's wrong with the dumb Americans? They just had, do you know, this is the way the BBC, do you know they had a number 4 hurricane that swooped up, then it lost space and swooped around the side and swooped back to Jersey, D.C., Jersey, and blew everybody, just blew the town down. And that's the way the news sound for them over there. And the people here that it's happening to, it must be happening so serious. The news. Because, see, like France and England, they don't have too many air conditioners. And when the temperature got to be 108 last year in France, and 70 degrees, several years back, it was 68 degrees in the Arctic Circle. 68 degrees in the Arctic Circle. It was 70 degrees last year, though. The ice was melting and you could probably sit there and watch it like a bathtub, the sea rising. You know what I mean? And that's not our problem, that's our opportunity. That's our opportunity. That's why the language will be a little bit different. We may not be using discombobulated and stuff like that as much. You know what I mean? Because if you do, not that we're trying to entertain white folks and help them, but if you use too much colored stuff, they'll think you don't know, tell the truth. That nigga don't know nothing. How we going to follow him just because he's right? Right? Or cooperate, right? So now, no, this is a big deal. I'm telling you, we're right here in the world when we need to be, and we're not afraid of, the world gonna come to an end. No, we're gonna fix it because at all other times and the stuff get fixed, and we're gonna play a part in fixing this. And if we can't, it's the will of Allah. But Allah has given us enough to fix. And the people are ready to fix it. We're not messing with Congress. We're not messing with none of them bums. The churches, even the synagogues if they want to. But we wrote this 15 years ago in the message to the churches. Think about that. That the work of Moses, and all the stuff we want to fix then is related to mostly race relations and other. But we have churches. You have the organizational structure. You have the money. So the churches get together. The Masjid and the young people in the Masjid today, they're ready for this. So everything that we're talking about, the world is ready. So we're not so far out in front of the people like we would have been talking that talk because nobody, they're not ready to listen at that time. You're way out in front of people. Nothing is so powerful as the idea whose time has come. Sure, we've been at it all the time, but now is the time. You see what I mean? Okay. And like we told our friends, we actually believe this. We can see it. It's clear. And all the stuff that boss man is fluff. If we could just walk through all that other stuff, taking it easy. And we're going to be prepared to sleep under a bridge. Well, we don't have to be prepared to sleep under a bridge. Because now we're going to have to fix the bridges and fix everything. Right? Yeah. Right. You don't want to sleep on a bridge. The bridge might fall on, kill you, right? So you don't want to sleep under a bridge, right? The bridge need fixing. One run over the big trucks and all you down there crushed. Well, I beg you. Success in matters destined for us, everything that was destined for us, we rolled right through it. We had no trouble. Assaults, taking our money, doing all of this, trying to scare us to death, tell the truth. It ain't had no effect. It has had absolutely no visible and no invisible effect at all. Oh, they did that? That's no big deal. Just like anything else they do. Yeah. So they did it. This little thing here, so they did it. And remember, we don't have to worry about economics and all of this. We're going into this with a clean history, a clean heart, and it don't make no difference what the Negroes think. Maybe they should join us and get in and help so the white folks won't think that niggas is stupid. And or they used to shiftless and lazy. Right? They're shiftless and lazy. Okay. So we're gonna be on the team, the first string. We're gonna be on there. That includes with the money, with the just do all of those CDs and DVDs with all our history. Even if we just use the ones we had back from years ago, it'll say all the same thing. We've been repeating this stuff for so long, right? Why? That's what we asked for. Redundancy. Redundancy. We haven't said nothing new in years. Well, there's a few little phrases, but the focus have been the same. So everything we want to do that we feel is good for humanity, we can do right now. And that's what we're going to do. And we done had a nice little rest, nice little everything. And the day of rest, it's like Allah give you what you need to do what you got to do. And that's where the trust in Allah comes in. That you trust in Allah, that you trust in Allah so much that you know, hey man, that is a good feeling to believe and trust in Allah. That is unbelievable. Because you know if you halfway right, you don't have to be all the way right. You can be a petty sinner and all kind of, because what? Allah is Ghafurur Rahim. All forgiving, most merciful. Rahmah, boy, you ought to, and Ghafur, they ought to realize whatever this God, hey, it's right there. I'm trying to tell you. Okay, that's where we headed. If they're not, that's their problem. Okay, success in matters destined for me, honor accorded to the martyrs. The martyr, hey man, if you leave as a martyr, you home free. Just to know nobody, no money, right? And you'll be in trouble if you're leaving it to the Negroes to take care of your debt, boy. You'll be, you may have to speak for it on. Anyway, life of the fortunate and help and support against our adversaries. Our adversaries are just stupid. Hey, man, see, when it's time to go, the adversaries may look big to everybody else, but to us, they look like they do to the rest of the world. Those people are stupid. Have you saw what the U.S. just did? Is what the other people are saying. Good God. You mean they left all of those weapons behind? They left thousands of this and hundreds of thousands of that and vehicles, and now you see the Taliban headed to town, they riding in a U.S. vehicle. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But see, you got to remember though, right? But you got to remember though, see, Iran is dealing with different things now, and what we said over a month ago is starting to take shape over there. It ain't going to go nowhere. They got the Uncle Tom saying, oh, what's the name? Those people are our friends. What was that? Shah Massoud's son, yeah. They're nice guys, and we're not helping them. And Iran is saying, you ignorant, you bums, you know what I mean? Y'all been sitting here, now you opening your mouth. And that's what they're saying hey man, y'all ought to shut up. Because pretty soon, if you keep talking, people are going to hear you. And they're going to remind you of what you've been saying. What side you've been on. And then all of a sudden they do say, hey man, that's right. If people can remember at least a month, 2 months back. Okay. Therefore, the U.S. did what they planned to do. they worked it out with so-called Taliban. We'll hook you up, and then you mess with Iran and destabilize that and hook up their people. That's why we said, don't lift a finger. You have the Afghanis come over, train, and the Afghans go back. So whatever happened in the future, they're not going to tie Iran down. And Iran is doing a wonderful job. They're not perfect, but they just landed the ship with the oil in it for Libya. Not Libya, Lebanon. Today. Unloading it. All that credit goes to Hezbollah. Yeah, it goes to Hezbollah. And it's going to get better because you got to remember when people start trying to do you in, they're trying to do something with the stock market and everything for China. Okay, the more they try to do against China, the more China is going to have to divvy out this stuff with their home folks. And then, okay, keep on. So China will say, okay, we want all our money's worth before this dollar crash. What do you owe us? How many trillion you owe us? Sam owes them. Sam owes them. They don't owe. Can you imagine that the Chinese could not be talking the talk they talk if they owed Sam 50 cents? Sam owes them trillions of dollars. And they don't take it back because they don't want to make the money here worthless. Anyway, Sam is going to try to do like they did Malaysia, Indonesia, all the tiny tigers years ago, and what they did to Japan. That's not going to work. Remember, Japan was selling everything to the U.S., was on a roll in the 80s and the 90s, and all of a sudden, bam. So the U.S. thinks with their global thing, we did it to the tiny tigers, and we did it to the Japanese, and we're going to do it to the Chinamans. Not this go round. See, they don't have, they can't read the signs. When it's all over, it says close it, they close it, all the shops is closed, Sam's eyes are wide open. Oh, they're closed, good, we could go faster down the street. Yeah, downhill, that's where you're headed. Anyway, let me speed up here. O Allah, I have appeared to you with my needs. My judgment is faulty, and my deeds feeble. O the kind, the merciful, I am in need of your grace. O the supreme judge of all affairs, the curer of hearts. As you keep water of two seas flowing together, separate by your power, in such a way that one retains its sweet taste while the other remains sour. You know, two seas sometimes, it actually don't mix. And even the fresh water coming out of the ocean don't mix for a long time. That's why I remember the saying about lower your bucket. They couldn't even see land. That's why the guy would say, hey man, send us some water. He said, lower your bucket. Because it's going to be a long time before that fresh water and that salt water mix. Okay, I'm going to speed up. Keep me away, flowing together. Separate by your power in such a way that one retains a sweet taste while the other remains sour. Keep me away from the hellfire and the punishment at the sight of which man will wish to die, and the chastisement of the grave. O Allah, if you have promised a believer for a blessing or decide to grant him a blessing without any prior promise of it, of which my wisdom was unable to think and feel the need, for which I had neither wished nor begged for, I now, O the Lord of the worlds, ask of you that blessing, and by your mercy eagerly hope that you will grant it for me. Now, this is asking Allah. If I was so dumb and out of space that I didn't even know how to ask for certain things that I needed, I didn't have no knowledge of something that I needed. I didn't know how to ask for it because I didn't know I needed it. And you know what I need. Overlook my ignorance, basically is what it's saying. Overlook my fault and inability to ascertain my own needs. And I'm asking you to cover those needs that I have that I don't even know that I have a need for that stuff. That's real trust. Okay. O Allah, whose tie is strong and commandment just, I beseech you for peace on the doomsday and paradise in the hereafter, along with the servants or bondsmen who are close to you and always remain busy in ruku and sajda. That is, in prayers and worship, and are distinguished for adherence to promise. O Allah, you are the most merciful, most loving, and sure accomplishers of what you plan. That is, of course, this is saying that's your attribute. O Allah, make us such that we become a source of guidance to others and are ourselves blessed with guidance. Now, that fits what we're asking Allah specifically, that today in this period, we want to be a source of guidance for others and guide it ourselves. We want, right? That we want to play a part in this stuff. The people are here, but they don't know what to do. We're going to tell the people, trust in yourself, confidence in yourself. I don't care if you have every Saturday at the school where kids go and rake up leaves or do what they do, right? Or go down to the river, or small boats go, you know what I mean? 1 day a week and clean up, da-da-da-da-da. That's the beginning. But don't ask boss man for nothing, right? If you're so greedy, keep it. That's the way you get him. Keep it. And tell everybody, do not go down there begging for anything, because then he got a hook in you. Go do it yourself. You want to solve America's problems? Get people out of them computers and off this, and get them out of active with each other, right? So they feel like I have some power, some authority, right? If you want to make California better, stop walking, driving to every store, smoking up everything. Instead of in LA, I-10 is about 50 lanes. It's not 50 lanes, but it's a lot of lanes out there. Going into LA, an hour and a half out of town, out in the desert. Yeah, when I'm going into LA, if I'm going to go through LA, I don't go around certain times because it's ridiculous. It's been over 20 years. No, it was 25. 81, 82, I made a mistake and drove through 10 going into L.A. I said, good God, in the morning, finished. It took 3 hours to get through town. 3 or 4, it took maybe 4 hours. You can't do it. So the people got to have, if you're coming from a certain town going into L.A., okay, have some stops there, and you got one in your car, pick up 5 people, 4 more people, right? It puts people, all of those things put people back together. It's simple. It's things you can do now, right? And those are going, when you're going back out, either the same people drive by and pick you up going out where you're going, or you get, there's too many ways to do it. You know, at every off-ramp on the freeway, when you're way out of town, people can been brought so far, and that people coming off the freeway also picking up, going back on the freeway. Because they was only going 30 miles out of town. You're going, the guy picked you up, he's going 30 miles out of town, but you're going on I-10, okay, good. Somebody else coming by going all the way, so let me pull off this highway till I can fill up again, fill up with people. I'm trying to say, all of those things are easy. We have just got, our habits are bad. You know, people will drive to the store 2 blocks up there instead of getting out and walk. Right? You don't see people walking with shopping bags anymore. They won't last because they don't know. But I'm trying to tell you, what we're going to introduce is what everybody sees. We're going to get Hollywood involved, and we're going to get all them people, because most of those people out there are not bad. They just have miserable lives themselves. No, because they taught them, all those people in Hollywood, those were poor people like us. Then they went to acting school, and they got rich and famous, and found out that the richer they got, the more famous they got, the crazier they got. But when you work with people and you're interacting with reality, takes that crackpotism away. You don't need a psychiatrist. You're participating in, what if the movies are all the producers, solution movies, you know what I mean? And not that stuff way off in the future shooting everybody with space guns, but real stuff that's happening right here, right now. Right? The dialogue. Okay, let me speed up. Can you turn that heat cooler off just for a second? Not that I'm free. Is anybody else cool? Y'all not cool? Yeah, it's okay. So, O Allah, this is my supplication to you, and to accept it is in your hands. This is my humble effort to attract your favor, but I repose trust in your mercy, not in my effort. I repose trust in your favor, not in my effort. Negro think he's going to do something to fix his own self up, he's in trouble. It ain't going to work. So, this is my humble effort to attract your favor. But I repose trust in your mercy, not in my effort. Not in my effort. That's why Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. O Allah, create light in my heart and light in my grave, and light in front and light in my back, and light at my right, light at my left, right, and light above me and light below me, and all around me, light, light, light. O Allah, create light in my hearing and light in my sight, so you can see what you're doing, and so you can hear stuff and you hear what's good for you and what's good for humanity. Because you don't want just extra regular sight. Everybody can see this and see that. But to see it and understand it and comprehend it. Light in my sight and light in my flesh and light in my blood and light in my bones. O Allah, increase light in me and grant light to me and let me live with light so people can see. That's the way to go. Look at that boy lit up like a Christmas tree or like some other tree. Above all limitations is the Lord, who has enshrouded himself with honor and majesty and adopted the garb and practice of mercifulness and graciousness. Just like Allah created for himself the rule of mercy and kindness, all that. He put that on himself. Can't nobody tell him what to do or nothing. But as the Quran say, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained for himself the rule of mercy. Above all limitations is the Lord, who extends his grace to his bondsman. Above all limitations is he, whose special attributes are majesty and generosity. I had 1,000 of these, and I'm not going to read them. I'm going to just mention a few things. So Thursday, if it's all right, we could come again Thursday. Could we come Thursday? Thursday, we're going to outline a more detailed, what we, this was just an overall, and we'll close with, let's see what we'll close with. Yeah, because we're going to open and close with dua so that we know ourselves. We're off the Abrahamic attitude of I want to see for myself. Look, hey man, we already know. And that wasn't just something for arrogance, but that was something for, so when we talking to those people, we telling them hey, you and all of y'all, you couldn't do nothing. Just a bunch of stumble bums. You better get with us. You want to be something? All of y'all all together couldn't even ruffle feathers. All of y'all there, all of y'all here, all of those over there, and all around the world, all of y'all couldn't do nothing to one nigga. Boy, that is pitiful. That's our attitude, and that's what we're saying. The whole show couldn't do nothing. We just looked at everybody. Okay, good for you. Right? Here's what we're saying now. Allah helped us do that or fix it. Allah fixed that game for us. Now we're going into this one, and this is a global, worldwide situation, and we asking Allah for special help. That was special help too. But this is to enlighten the hearts of the people so they can themselves see the solution or be willing to participate in these solutions for themselves. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah. Oh, here it is. I heard the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, "By Allah, with the repentance of a believer, Allah is pleased." And then the person who stops doing a journey at an uninhabited place, which is devoid of resources, of life, and replete with articles of destruction. He has only a camel with him for the ride, with a provision of food and drink on it. He then lays his head restfully and falls asleep. On waking up, he finds that his camel has escaped. He runs desperately in search of it till intensity of heat and thirst threatens his life. He decides to stay at the place where he had slept till he meets his death. He walks to the place and lies down there to die, resting his head against his arm. On waking up, he finds his camel standing by his side, his food and drink safe and intact on it. His happiness of the traveler will then know no bounds. Now, Allah is happier with the repentance of a believer than the traveler is with finding his camel. In other words, this is just an allegorical story. Now, me and you can't imagine being out in the desert and nobody coming by, and you got water and food on the camel pops up, you lay down and he's gone. You look all around, the poor camel is gone, and so, well, okay. So you say, well, that's about it for the brother. So you say, I'm going to lay down, take a little rest. When you lay down and take a rest, you look up at Naz the camel with everything you brought with you on the camel. And so this is the type of happiness. It's just an allegory that Allah has for us when we run around like a fool, you know what I mean, trusting in all this other stuff. And we realize that, hey, we had been packed up with everything we need for the journey in this world and for the journey in the next world has been packed up for us. And all we had to do, right, was work to please Allah. So that's the dua for today. And we want to congratulate everyone for coming this far. Look, I already know that Boss Man, what he do, but Boss Man he's losing it, and he don't even know he's losing it. Some people are standing there at the door telling the Boss Man you're losing. Man, it's crazy. I'm Boss Man. What are you talking about? Right?
I wondered that today. How can whoever's listening be listening to people saying that America's in decline and there's no or what is their reaction
Right.
to hearing that gospel?
Right.
Because it's being, like you said, it's being said.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's kind of getting pushed. Like, one of the things I'm noticing on Netflix, I'm seeing them put a lot of documentaries on there about the decline of empire, the rise of empire.
Yeah.
He kind of getting seeped out there, but ain't hitting the people yet. Why these things are showing up in the media?
Okay, that's why during this period of people need to develop confidence in themselves. That's why what we say, don't go to the Congress asking for nothing. Whatever you got, Congress, keep it. We'll do it by getting the people. Remember, the people are sitting up eating all the food and all unhappy and watching a thing because they're not sociable. They're not going around with it. This stuff is for them. This stuff is to help them. Help all the people get active. Okay? You get out on a boat cleaning up the seashore. You go out and get on a crew that you're going to rake stuff out of the, whatever, the Anacostia, right? You have a crew going to walk through the forest, the park over here, and they're going to take chainsaws and they're going to cut down, when the park people come through, they just cut enough for you to, if it's a big tree that fell over, they just cut enough for you to get by. And you still got to hop over to go on it. And with this wind, it's been a lot of that. When I go, I got to go all this way. It's no problem. But the people go out. And this is what the people have been missing, doing healthful, good, wholesome relationships, because the people that they're working with want to do good, and by them being out. And this is the schools. This is the universities. Everybody will handle things on the level that they are able to handle. And okay, let me see what else. So we congratulate everyone. And I put here, not too much psycho-guerrilla warfare. We done already did that. We'll do a little bit every now and then. But this is more directly to the point, more dealing with belief and structural. You'll see when we hook up, what is our vision for the future, a vision statement, and this kind of, yeah. Psychological guerrilla warfare was for the last stage. And we whooped Boss Man bad. He didn't, the Boss Man just got whooped bad. We whooped him bad. He's never been whipped like that before. Over a long period of time. By a Negro. No Negroes have lasted that time. I know what I'm talking about. There has been no movement and no leadership that have lasted that long, that many years, and had our same attitude. Just haven't. No, indeed. We know that Allah directed us to study, and that's what we did. 15%. So we're asking 15% of cooperation for the believers, and if they want to do more, that'll be fine. 15%, that's all. Anybody, they say that there's 10% FBI, it's all right, or 15 or 5. We're just asking 10% cooperation, 15%. But now, even if it's 10, here's why. Because if you stick at least 10 or 15% to certain realities, Boss Man, that's not enough for him to discover whether you're messing around or not. It's just like the guy in Africa and the liquor thing. If you cut alcohol with just 10%, you can't usually tell. But if you do it 40%, 30%, so we're just saying, just water it down. 10% is sufficient. Actually, 5% would be a help. 5% might be more, because 5% you'd be so close that you could fool Boss Man easier with 5%. Yeah, you could, because 5%, it looks just like the same thing. People been saying, yeah, I've been watching him, Boss Man, I've been da-da-da-da, and you just have 5% on the side. That's all we need. This guy is so dumb, shoot, we can whoop him. We done just whooped him with everybody, hey man, I am not impressed with Boss Man at all. I think he's stupid. Estúpido. Baboso. Yeah. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he ain't got any time when history catch up with you and you don't want to see nothing, that means you're stupid. Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah, okay. Uh, this go round sound more scientific, more dictionary and more thesaurus. That's because, like I say, we don't want to over Negroize white folks because after a while they'll think that nigga can't know nothing using this vocabulary, right? So we want to use a little bit of it just to be intriguing enough to mystify them. But we don't want to you know what I mean, over colorize them. The modern white folks, they is in bad shape as a Negro. Yeah, Trump but that's them. That we don't want them white folks. Those are the people that are. Hey, we don't want them. No, we want the ones. Remember all the demonstrations. Remember at least they looked that way. They looked a little educated, a little something or other, right? That's who we want to. That's who we after. If they dumb enough to like Trump, hey, we don't have room for you on this boat. No sirree, boy. Good God Almighty. Yep. And at every transition, there's a separation of peoples. One going one way into Jahiliyyah and the Dunya, and the other. Okay, East Oakland Enterprises or the Oakland Story will upgrade it to the 9/11 version. East Oakland Enterprises, the untold story. So we're telling a modern version. Okay. The last thing, never surrender your future to these crackpots. Not your wives, not your children, not your family. You don't surrender your future. These guys are crazy. That's all I can say. We'd offered them everything we could. The Mandela, they don't get it. You're dumb. Forget it. Stay far away from me as you can. We're not coming to you and ask for nothing. We're going to fix this stuff ourselves. You want to get him to run around trying, please let me help. Well, here's some buckets. But those buckets is full of money. Fine. Bring them on, and you could just go out and get some more buckets full of money and bring them to us. You don't do nothing. You don't do nothing. Okay, new clothes. We talked about that. Special Kula kalihada wa astaghfirullah liwalakum. We'll patch all of this up Thursday. We are in a new phase. We feel like this is the new stage that we're in, and it seems like it's the right time. Everybody wants to be here. You can't be too far ahead of people, nor you can't be too far behind. So, when we were talking about cleaning up Chesapeake Bay, that was 15 years ago. But now, it's a great idea. There's nothing like an idea this time has come. Not before, not after. And all the things we wanted to do, the homelessness, the Negro universities, all of those we'll do, because we want our people to be represented in sufficient numbers, no doubt about it. Yeah. We want our people to be, they got as much sense as anybody. They just got to be moved away from them those doggone fraternities or whatever they do. They have fraternities and they be jumping over. I watch some of them people. I'll close in 1 second. I was at UC Davis, and I'll tell you the truth, I didn't know what the heck they was doing at first. They had guys with, they had their face painted certain colors, and they was marching in step, and all of them would turn one way. I didn't know that was an initiation. I said, what the hell is wrong with those people? I never went to, all I know is when I was in prison and I made the honor roll, because you could go to college then, but I was in the pen. And then some Alpha Kappa Dappa somebody, I was down in Florida, so you know, and they don't have your name. Your name is on the honor roll. It's not on the prison. They don't have, and the people don't know you in prison. So they were sending me all of this stuff so I could join them. And I quit. I didn't quit going to school. I continued to go to school every time all the college courses, I always took them all the time, everywhere I was. But I said, I ain't getting, if them people want to contact me, something is wrong. Right? So I loved education. I mean, my cell was full of all the school books and college courses. I guess I done had them over 3 or 4 times, you know. But I loved them, education. But I didn't need the paper. I said it's dangerous. And I'll close with this. One of my friends he was helping with the Masjid when I went back to prison. He was a great lecturer at the University of California, all around. He hung out with Iranians a lot. In fact, he had an Iranian wife. And he took me I went to the library with him at UC Hayward at University of California, Hayward campus. And he said, look at all of these books. He said, I guess you've never read all of those books. I said, absolutely not. I haven't, and I'm not going to waste any time on all that junk. But remember, I went to the school. I read and studied all the time, but I knew what I needed to know. I saw all that googly gook and stuff they got there running a brother crazy up there trying to read all that stuff. Anyway, are there any questions or comments?
Brother did make a comment via Facebook Messenger. He sent it was a video link to apparently there's some rumors going around social media about China basically preparing to roll out cryptocurrency. Like China's getting
Yeah.
away from the dollar early 2022. Like basically
Yeah, they ready, them and Russia and all. Go ahead, yeah.
whispers of that starting to come through, and the brother said, Brother Imam, if you want the money in your prediction, boss man's in big trouble.
It would be just another thing. See, remember we just talked about what they did with the Tiny Tigers in '98. They were doing wonderful. Malaysia, Indonesia, all of them, they was really doing good. And Boss Man crushed them. The Japanese had slipped up on Boss Man, sold him all these Toyotas and everything, and hey, Japan became number 2 in the world. But the U.S. had enough power to mess up the banking and the things like that. I don't think it was accidental. And that Japan bought all of the property from Boss Man, and then so China is a little bit too big for that. But it wouldn't make any difference. Here's why. maybe a little tussle would be good for China to bring them back within the arena of we need all of y'all. See, China right now don't think they need. We're just going to belt and road you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they're not the same China of the 70s. That was, okay. And they're not bad. They just getting money and, hey, man, they're having money now. Just like the bald-headed man. Didn't I see you somewhere before? Not me. I've been like this all the time. So, well, okay, if it's you, then hope things go back like they was, What about the other man? The man used to have leprosy. Did I see you had leprosy? You was broke, didn't nobody want to talk to you or nothing. Not me. Shoot, boy, look at him. Sound like a Negro. Man, I've been having money since I was 16 years old. I gets money in one hand and I gets it in the other, and that's what I do. I'm pimping holes and slamming Cadillac doors. Yeah. They are. I mean, you've seen it before. You've seen it before. When you see it, that's why we know what to tell them. Hey, man, take it easy. We with you. We with you. We are. Look, man, we've been with you, so we telling you. And, there's a thing called history, and you got 5,000 years of it. If you haven't got it to point by now, you know what I mean? You letting a little 120 years with boss man make you mad and make you forget. You got more history than just about anybody around, so you have seen the cycle. You can't jump up. Confucius was 2,500 years ago, something like that. Right? It wasn't last month. That was a while back. That's back in BC. Okay, but anyway, all of those people, I believe this cycle is for the human being to rise to a higher level and to take charge of his own life again. That's what it's about. So this is not a rebellion like the old type rebellions. This is a struggle to gain control over your life. That's what it's for. That's what I believe for the human being. Not for Bezos and them to, for the lesson of our time. And remember, we think a lot. We get a chance to play a part in this. Usually, Negroes wanted to do this, Black Power, this, that, another. Now, we have an opportunity, and we're taking it, to play a part in the global revival, human revival, not just, and we're starting with what we need. But we're not going to demand everybody got to start and finish with dua. We're going to, like what we said about those letters to the churches. This is not new. We've been thinking about this all the time. Why we didn't do nothing? We didn't do nothing because it wasn't the time. At that time, it would be a waste of time. It would be a waste of time. This is the time. Okay. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.